If you've lived long enough, you already know this. The people you surround yourself with don't just influence your day, they shape your entire life. Sometimes they elevate you. Other times, they quietly drain the very energy that keeps you moving forward. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus once said, "Keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." But in reality, many of us stay bound to relationships not because they serve us, but because they're familiar. Out of habit, guilt, or fear of being alone, we hold on, even when the connection has already expired. That's where the real question begins. Not, do they care about me? Or how long have we known each other? But something far more honest. Are the people in my life helping me become wiser, calmer, stronger? Or are they slowly pulling me away from who I'm trying to become? Answering that question takes courage. It means putting reason above emotion. It means recognizing that some people, while not necessarily harmful, are simply no longer aligned with your path, and maybe never were. A Stoic doesn't surround themselves with chaos and call it loyalty. They choose their circle the way a craftsman chooses their tools, carefully, deliberately, with purpose. In today's video, we're going to explore 8 subtle signs of foolish friends. The kind of people who may not mean to cause harm, but still chip away at your clarity, time, and peace. These signs are easy to miss at first, but once you learn to recognize them, everything changes. Because the moment you realize someone is taking more than they're giving, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, is the moment you give yourself permission to choose differently. At this point in life, your energy is not unlimited. Your peace is not a public resource. And your time, it's far too valuable to be spent on relationships that no longer deserve access to your inner world. Let's get into it. Number 1, they're always negative. We've all known someone like this. The friend who never has a good word to say. No matter how clear the sky or how fortunate the day, they find fault in everything. The world is unfair, their boss is impossible, their luck is always the worst. At first, you think they just need to vent. You listen. You offer advice. Maybe you even try to lighten their mood. But over time, you notice something deeper. Their negativity isn't just a bad day. It's who they've become. And whether you mean to or not, you carry it with you when you leave. Negativity is contagious. Sit too long with someone who only sees what's wrong, and you'll start looking through the same cracked lens. You'll begin to believe the world is just as heavy, just as hopeless. Stoic philosophy teaches us to guard our minds against what weakens our spirit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But it's not just your thoughts you need to guard. It's the company you keep. The wrong friend can stain your mindset just as quickly. There's a certain kind of foolishness in negativity that masquerades as wisdom. Some people believe pointing out every flaw makes them sharp, that cynicism proves they're clever. But as Epictetus reminded us, wisdom isn't about tearing things down. It's about understanding the world as it is and choosing your response with courage and clarity. A negative friend only teaches you to see what's broken, not what can be built. Modern psychology tells us that persistent negativity rewires the brain. It breeds pessimism, lowers resilience, and increases stress. And when you're in the company of someone like this, day after day, their outlook becomes yours. Slowly, without realizing it, you start matching their energy, lowering your expectations and dulling your ambition. A Stoic chooses better. He surrounds himself with people who challenge him to be better, not bitter. People who acknowledge hardship but aren't ruled by it. Friends who speak honestly but with purpose, who lift the conversation, not drag it into complaints and criticism without end. If you find yourself leaving someone's company feeling heavier, more drained, or doubtful of the goodness in your life, it's time to step back and take stock. Friendship isn't just about loyalty, it's about influence. And a wise man doesn't let foolish company steal his peace. He chooses friends who remind him of the kind of man he is working to become. Friends who make him sharper, wiser, stronger. That is the Stoic way. Quiet, clear, and unwavering in the company you keep. Number 2, they gossip and betray trust. I once knew a man named Paul, the kind of person you'd want at your dinner table. Charming, funny, always with a good story in his back pocket. He made people feel like they were on the inside, trusted with details no one else knew. For a while, I thought of him as a friend. We'd talk about life, work, family. He was the kind of man who made you feel like you could tell him anything. And I did. One day, I was at a gathering when I heard my own words, something I had told Paul in confidence, repeated casually in conversation. A personal struggle, reduced to small talk. I stood there, realizing in that moment what I should have known sooner. If he spoke so easily about someone else's troubles, he'd do the same with mine. He already had. That's how it works with foolish friends who gossip and betray trust. They don't see your confidence as something to protect. They see it as currency. And no matter how entertaining they are, or how much they claim to care, they are dangerous to your peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius warned us about wasting time on what others say and do. But he also taught the importance of surrounding ourselves with people of integrity. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. And part of being a good man is honoring what's given in trust. You guard it as you would anything sacred. A man who can't do that isn't just careless, he's corrosive. Modern psychology calls this breach of trust a relational violation. It's more than just bad manners. It breaks the foundation of security between two people. Once broken, it rarely heals clean. You find yourself second-guessing what you say, watching your words as if every conversation is under surveillance. And that isn't friendship. That's walking on a wire. A Stoic man values peace. He values clarity. He doesn't entangle himself with those who speak recklessly or betray confidences. He surrounds himself with those who are steady, who speak with reason, who know when to hold silence. I stopped sharing things with Paul after that day. The friendship faded quietly, not with anger, but with understanding. Trust is a choice. So is silence. And sometimes, the wisest decision is to step away from those who don't know the weight of either. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. I'll add, be content to be left out of gossip. A Stoic seeks wisdom, not whispers, and he keeps company with those who do the same. Number 3, they're never there when you need them. One of life's harder lessons is realizing who truly stands beside you when things fall apart. It's easy to find companions when times are good, when laughter fills the room and the road ahead is smooth. But trouble has a way of revealing what comfort hides. A friend who disappears when life gets hard isn't a friend at all. They're just passing time at your table until the weather changes. I remember hearing about a man named Daniel. He was the kind of person who showed up for everyone. The guy who helped his friends move on weekends, lent money when they fell short, and listened when their lives fell apart. For years, he gave generously, believing it would be returned if he ever needed it. Then the day came when he did. Daniel's wife was diagnosed with cancer. It was sudden, devastating, the kind of news that stops your world from spinning. And for the first time in his life, Daniel needed his friends. He reached out, hoping to lean a little on the people he had stood for so many times. Some didn't answer. Others made promises they never kept. Days turned into weeks, and the people who once crowded his life grew quieter and quieter. When he needed someone to sit in the waiting room with him, no one showed. When he needed a simple phone call, his phone stayed silent. He later told me it wasn't the diagnosis that broke him. It was the silence from the people he thought were his friends. Seneca wrote, "A friend is someone who helps in times of trouble, not just in times of happiness." Daniel learned the hard way what that meant. It's not the people who stand beside you at the party that matter. It's the ones who are still there when the party's over. Modern psychology tells us that true social support in times of hardship isn't just comforting, it's life-giving. It strengthens resilience, shortens grief, and gives you the clarity to move forward. But only if those connections are real. A foolish friend can't stand in the hard places with you. They disappear because they were never steady in the first place. A Stoic man chooses his company with intention. He doesn't fill his life with fair-weather friends who shrink when things get heavy. He chooses those who stay when it's inconvenient, who show up when no one else does. Marcus Aurelius said, "Associate with those who will make you better." Better isn't proven in good times. It's tested in the dark. Daniel rebuilt his circle after that season. He said it was smaller, but stronger. Sometimes life does the sorting for us. A Stoic accepts that without bitterness. He learns. He walks forward, lighter but wiser, and so should you. Choose friends who offer more than presence on a sunny day. Choose those who stay when the clouds roll in. That is the company worthy of a Stoic's trust. Number 4. They encourage you to abandon your principles. One of the clearest signs of a foolish friend is the way they treat your principles. They question them, challenge them, not to strengthen your resolve, but to undermine it. They mock your discipline, dismiss your values as old-fashioned, and invite you to lower your standards in the name of fun, freedom, or being more easygoing. What they fail to understand, or what they choose to ignore, is that a man's principles are not restrictions. They are the foundation of his dignity and peace. The Stoics made it clear that virtue is the only true good. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." A life without principles may feel free for a time, but it eventually collapses under its own weight. When friends pull you away from the values you've built your life on, they are not offering freedom. They are offering disorder, disguised as liberty. Modern psychology refers to this behavior as social undermining. It's a subtle but powerful influence where someone, instead of supporting your commitment to your goals, actively or passively encourages you to abandon them. These people make discipline feel like a burden, self-control like a weakness. They may not say it outright, but their message is clear. Why bother? The Stoic understands why we bother. Because without principles, we are at the mercy of the moment, driven by impulse and the approval of others. And no Stoic man should allow his life to be governed by the fleeting opinions of those who do not share his values. Surround yourself with people who honor your standards, not those who chip away at them. A wise friend respects your boundaries and encourages your discipline. They make you feel stronger in your convictions, not foolish for holding them. As Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid by those who don't understand. Better to stand alone in your principles than to stand with those who have none. Choose your companions wisely. Their influence will either strengthen your path or pull you from it. And a Stoic never walks away from his principles. Quiet, steady, and clear. That's the way forward. Number 5, they're jealous of your success. Did you know that, according to a study published in Scientific American, people often experience envy more intensely toward friends than toward strangers or rivals? It's not distant success that unsettles us. It's when someone close to us begins to rise, especially if they started where we did. For many, another's progress becomes a mirror, reflecting their own perceived shortcomings. And when a so-called friend can't stand your success, it's one of the clearest signs you're keeping company with the wrong person. A foolish friend struggles to celebrate your victories. Instead of shaking your hand with genuine pride, they minimize your effort. They call your achievements luck or change the subject when you talk about something you've worked hard for. At first, you may try to explain it away, telling yourself they're just having a bad day. But over time, you notice the pattern. Your wins make them uncomfortable. What should strengthen the bond between you instead creates quiet resentment. The Stoics teach that a virtuous friend rejoices in your virtue and success. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to act as nature intended, to rejoice in the good of others, as part of the same whole. A true friend recognizes your progress as something to be proud of, not something to compete with. Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics long understood. Secure, self-aware individuals are better able to celebrate others because they are at peace with themselves. But when a person is driven by insecurity, your success feels like a personal failure to them. They may not admit it, but their actions speak loudly. They might mock your discipline, question your values, or simply withdraw when they sense you're moving forward. A Stoic man does not shrink to keep others comfortable, nor does he diminish his light to make someone else feel better about their own darkness. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid by those who do not understand. If your progress distances you from those who resent it, let it." A man who walks the path of wisdom and virtue does not turn back to carry those unwilling to walk beside him. Surround yourself with friends who want to see you succeed, who feel stronger because of your strength. That is true companionship. It encourages you, supports you, and makes you better for the journey ahead. At this point in life, you know your time is too valuable to share with those who secretly hope you fail. Choose the company that lifts you. That's the Stoic way. Steady, resolute, and unshaken. Number 6, they drain your energy. Not every friendship is meant to last a lifetime. One of the clearest signs it's time to let go is when you leave someone's company feeling more exhausted than refreshed. We've all had those conversations. The ones where you listen more than you speak, where you carry their burdens while they show no interest in yours. The kind of friend who only calls when they need something, never to ask how you're doing or to offer a steady hand when life weighs you down. It's not always dramatic. In fact, these friendships often wear you down quietly over time. They leave you feeling heavy, even if you can't explain why. You find yourself dreading the phone calls, dodging invitations, making excuses. And if you're honest with yourself, it's not because you're too busy. It's because every interaction leaves you drained, with nothing in return. Seneca warned against wasting time on people who consume your energy without offering anything back. Associate with those who will make you better, he wrote, not those who only take what you're willing to give. A wise person knows that time is one of the few things you can't get back, and who you give it to says a lot about the life you are building. Modern psychology calls these relationships one-sided or emotionally draining. They often involve someone who constantly takes but rarely gives, someone who seeks comfort but never offers it in return. Over time, these friendships increase stress, lower your emotional resilience, and distract you from the things that truly matter. A Stoic friend, by contrast, knows how to support without demanding your energy. They understand that friendship is a two-way street, where both give, both receive, and both walk away stronger. A good friend leaves you lighter, not heavier, sharper, not dulled by endless negativity or selfishness. If you find yourself pouring time and effort into someone who leaves you empty, it's time to ask yourself, what am I really gaining from this friendship? A Stoic doesn't cling to something just because it's familiar. He evaluates it carefully, and if a relationship no longer aligns with his values or peace of mind, he lets it go. Not out of anger, but out of reason. There is wisdom in choosing the company you keep, and peace in choosing those who give as much as they take. Friendship, like anything else in life, must be reciprocal to endure. And for a Stoic, energy is too precious to waste. Give it where it grows something better in return. That's the kind of friendship that lasts. Quiet, steady, and true. Number 7, they refuse to grow. There's a point in life when you realize that not everyone is willing to grow with you. Some people would rather stay in the same place, repeating old mistakes, holding on to old grievances, and making the same excuses they've made for years. And the hard truth is, no matter how much you care, you can't drag someone toward wisdom if they're determined to stand still. I knew a man named David. We met in our 20s, both working our way up from nothing. We shared dreams back then, big ones. He talked about building his own business, starting a family, becoming a man his father could be proud of. And for a while I thought he'd get there. But as the years went on, something became clear. David was stuck. He blamed the economy when his business failed, even though he hadn't put in the time to learn the trade. He said women today didn't want a good man when his relationships fell apart, though he refused to listen or grow through the hard conversations. Every setback had a reason, except him. I tried, as any friend would. I had long talks with him, shared books that helped me, encouraged him to take small steps. But every time he got close to making a change, he'd slip right back into old habits. Drinking too much, wasting money, blaming everyone else for where he was in life. One evening, I told him plainly, "If you don't change, you'll be standing here 10 years from now telling the same story." He laughed it off, and I realized he was fine with that. There's a pain that comes with realizing someone you care about doesn't want to move forward. It's not anger, it's sorrow. You remember who they were when they still believed they could be more. But the Stoics teach us not to carry what isn't ours. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." And sometimes that means walking forward without them. Modern psychology calls this developmental stagnation, the inability or refusal to grow through life stages. In friendship, it creates imbalance. You're moving forward, they're staying behind. And soon enough, the distance isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's philosophical. A Stoic friendship is rooted in shared values, mutual growth, and challenge. It's not about dragging someone uphill, it's about walking together towards something better. When a friend refuses to grow, you're left with a choice. Stay and stand still with them, or keep moving forward. I let David go quietly, without bitterness, and I kept walking, because at some point, you have to choose your own path over someone else's refusal to move. And that's not unkind. That's clarity. That's what a Stoic does. He moves forward with those who are willing to take the step, steady, purposeful, and free from what no longer serves his journey. Number 8, they make life about them. Did you know that research from the American Psychological Association shows that one-sided friendships, where one person dominates conversations and emotional space, lead to increased stress, emotional exhaustion, and even lower self-esteem? The human brain is wired for reciprocal relationships, connections where both individuals feel seen and valued. When a friendship is consistently unbalanced, it slowly drains your energy, making you feel like an accessory in someone else's life rather than an equal participant. A foolish friend always finds a way to make everything about themselves. Your struggles become an opportunity for them to talk about their own problems. Your victories are downplayed or redirected to their frustrations. Over time, you notice that you are doing all the listening and all the supporting, while they rarely ask how you're doing. Or if they do, it's only to set the stage for their own complaints. It's not friendship, it's emotional servitude. The Stoics understood that relationships must have harmony. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We were born for cooperation. A real friend contributes to your life just as you contribute to theirs. They listen when you need to speak. They celebrate when you succeed, and they offer wisdom when you struggle." A friendship where one person constantly takes up space, leaving no room for you, is a friendship out of balance. And imbalance, over time, leads to resentment, exhaustion, and detachment. Modern psychology calls this self-centered behavior a lack of emotional intelligence. These individuals are often so consumed by their own perspective that they fail to recognize the needs of those around them. They are not necessarily malicious, but their inability to shift focus outward makes them unreliable in moments when true friendship is needed most. A Stoic man values relationships that are built on mutual respect. He doesn't entertain friendships where he is expected to give endlessly without receiving support in return. If someone in your life consistently makes every conversation, every moment about themselves, without regard for your experiences, it's time to step back and reassess. Epictetus taught, "Associate with those who will make you better, not those who drain you, not those who treat you as an audience rather than an equal." A true friend knows the value of reciprocity. They make space for you, just as you make space for them. Choose those who walk beside you, not those who expect you to walk in their shadow. That is the Stoic way, quiet, steady, and unshaken by the weight of those who only know how to take. By now, you've likely learned this truth. The people you allow into your life shape the man you become. Stoicism reminds us that we are reflections of the company we keep. Spend your time with those who lack purpose, who pull you away from your principles, and you'll find yourself drifting. But choose your companions with care, men and women of reason, of virtue, and you'll walk straighter, lighter, and with more clarity. Epictetus said, "Seek people who will make you better, not those who flatter you or drain you or lead you into foolishness, but those who challenge you quietly to be the man you're meant to be." Please hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and leave a comment below to share your story, your successes, and even the challenges you've overcome. If you're ready to surround yourself with those who sharpen your mind and strengthen your character, write in the comments, I choose peace. Because the circle you build isn't just about friendship. It's about who you are when no one is watching. And a Stoic man knows the soul takes its shape from the hands of those we stand beside. Choose carefully, walk steadily, and let your circle reflect the life you're committed to living.